So the knife blade handle, this is actually called the tang. Do you want to grip the knife close to the blade? Some people will actually grip on the blade. What you don't want to do is you don't want to grip way back here. Don't be afraid of it. Grip it up by the blade. This is where all your strength is going to come from. The one way you don't want to cut is you don't want to keep this finger out here. One, it's prone to slippage, and two, over time, you will get carpal tunnel syndrome if you cut that way all the time. Let's start with an onion. I am always amazed how many people actually do not know how to cut or peel an onion. And it's really quite simple. So let's get a good grip on our blade. You want to cut stem to root, right in half through the root. Your next step, just going to be to cut the top off and grab a layer and peel it. So now let's start with just dicing an onion. The first thing you want to do is put it flat surface down, this toward you. And you're just going to take your knife and make some horizontal cuts in the onion. Just like that. So you can see the onion still all together. Now you're going to take your knife and you're going to cut the opposite way toward the root. And then turn your onion, and now you're going to have diced onion. So now you've got a beautiful diced onion right here. So this is like what we would call a medium dice. This is probably what you use most common. But let's say that you want to have something more fine. Maybe you're making a salad dressing. So now you're just going to make these cuts closer together. And this is what's going to vary the size of your dice. So this time we probably put about 6 cuts in there. And then you're going to do the same thing, but you're just going to put them closer together. And again, turn it, cut close together. And can you see the difference in size here between the two cuts? So this would be considered a small dice. This would be considered a medium dice. Okay, let's just talk about slicing a carrot. There's more than one way to do it. So let's take our end off, put that in our soup pot. Some of you just like straight cuts. However, look at, you can go super thin with this knife. You can go thicker into coins. If you'd like to go more decorative, we do what's called bias cut or diagonal cut. This is nice on vegetable trays and other things. You can see the difference in how pretty those look. And if you have a colored carrot, other than orange, like they make the purple carrot, the yellow carrot, the white carrot, and you mix those together, it's really quite pretty. You're making a pretty soup. Look, I'm going to show you what's called a roll cut for carrot. So you start with a little diagonal. It's called a roll cut because that's what you do. You're going to roll the carrot. Roll it forward until you see the diagonal gone the other way. Make another diagonal cut. Roll the carrot again, make your diagonal cut. Roll the carrot again, make the diagonal cut. So you just keep doing this until you're at the end of your carrot. And what this does, like for stews and soups and even roasting vegetables, it gives you multiple surface areas to roast, but also all of your pieces are approximately the same size. And it's just something different than what you see on an everyday cut. The other thing I'd like to show you in cutting a carrot is when you need to dice or julienne a carrot. Now, carrots are notoriously slippery on a cutting board. So what you want to do is just cut like a 2-inch piece, and then you want to cut off one edge of it so that it creates a flat bottom so that your carrot is not going to roll around on your cutting board. So now let's say we want to dice this carrot. We're just going to use this nice rocking motion. We're going to slice through however thick you'd like that to be. And then you're able to take these stacks and do the same rocking motion. So now we've got a julienne, and you didn't have to slip with the knife. And see how they're all kind of the same size? So for a julienne, now you've got them all the same size. Now to dice the carrot, it's really easy to square that up with your knife edge because they are the same size. So you just want to grab these in a nice little bundle And now you can dice your carrot. So now you've got a very nice dice for your soup or spaghetti sauce if you're making a bolognese or whatever you're adding it to. So now you've seen just slicing, you've seen an oblique, a roll cut, and now you've seen a julienne, which we turned into a dice for the carrot. Let's talk about a bell pepper. I don't know how you cut a bell pepper, but there actually is a really easy way to do it. You just slice off the sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can throw all that away. You don't have to seed it, you don't have to do anything. What I like to do once I've done that is I am not a fan of this rib that sits in here. So you can either use your chef knife, kind of lay this flat and take that off, or if you're uncomfortable with that cut, you can take your utility knife, cut the pepper, and now you can easily do it with your utility knife. And what that gives you is the nice red color. You don't have that white lining. So if you're making a vegetable tray, do you ever get a vegetable tray and you get the one piece of pepper that has this? No, you just simply need to cut that off. And this utility knife is perfect for doing that. Just trimming a little bit of that inside off the pepper. And now if you'd like with this knife, then you're able to either use this knife to cut, or you can cut with your chef knife. Like we said, the utility knife is like a mini chef knife. It's personal preference. A lot of it has to do with the size of your hands. Also, just when you're cutting, especially like this, if you can keep your hand rolled into like a claw, you'll never cut your fingers, because the knife is going to use your knuckle as a guard. So sometimes the chef knife is used many times, almost always in combination when you're doing vegetables, chef knife and utility knife. So now we have a small dice of that red pepper. So slice, larger dice, small dice of the red pepper, using both our chef knife and our utility knife.